Tonight's news is dominated by the volatile situation in Russia. Earlier today, President Putin was facing the biggest threat to his authority since coming to power over 20 years ago. But then, this evening, there was a sudden change, and the crisis seemed to be over. It's all down to this man, Yevgeny Prigozhin, who leads a group of mercenary soldiers who've been fighting in Ukraine. They're known as the Wagner group. He's been very critical of the Putin approach to the war. He called on Russian troops to rebel against their leaders. And he said that his men were marching on Moscow. But then at 6:30 this evening, Prigozhin issued a statement saying that he'd agreed to stop the movement of his troops, to de-escalate the situation and, in his words, to avoid bloodshed. The Kremlin then announced that the Wagner force would not be prosecuted and that Prigozhin would be moving to live to Belarus. President Putin had accused the Wagner group of betrayal and treason. Tonight, he said that avoiding more bloodshed was more important than punishing people. We'll have the latest on this dramatic day from our correspondents Steve Rosenberg in Moscow and Andrew Harding in eastern Ukraine. And we'll be joined in the studio by our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette, with her assessment. Let's start in Moscow with Steve Rosenberg.
Yes, Hugh. Well, just a few hours ago, it seemed as if Wagner fighters were on their way to Moscow, and there seemed to be a real danger of confrontation because of that. But, you know, in Russia, things can change very fast, and for whatever reason, they did so today.